As men age, conversations around health typically focus on blood pressure, heart function, or joint pain. But rarely do we talk about a deeply personal yet vital area of wellness sexuality. For many men over 60, the silence around masturbation, intimacy, and changing sexual function is not just uncomfortable, it's harmful. This article aims to break that silence and explore 5 crucial truths about masturbation and aging that could transform the way older men experience vitality, confidence, and self-respect in their later years. Consider the story of one man, now in his 70s, who described how simply reframing his idea of masculinity, from performance to connection, changed his entire relationship with himself. Research also backs this shift. Psychologists have found that when older adults re-engage in sexuality through mindfulness, their overall emotional well-being improves significantly. This highlights a fundamental truth. Our sexual evolution doesn't end with age, it deepens with intention. 1. Erection is not the whole story. For most of their lives, men are taught, often implicitly, that an erection defines masculinity. As age creeps in, however, many notice that arousal isn't as immediate or intense. Erections take longer or feel less firm. This change often triggers anxiety and shame. But here's the truth: erection quality is only one small part of sexual fulfillment. What matters more is presence, connection, and the capacity for pleasure. Learning this can relieve decades of performance pressure and open new avenues for intimacy. It's time to reframe sexual success. The shift from focusing on the physical to embracing emotional and sensory experiences leads to deeper connection. An older man once said, "I thought I lost my manhood when I couldn't get hard. I didn't realize I had gained wisdom in intimacy. That wisdom is worth more than youth ever could be." 2. The emotional and psychological side of masturbation. Masturbation in older age isn't just a remnant of youth, it can become a powerful emotional tool. Many men use it unconsciously to ease stress, lull themselves to sleep, or regulate emotions. This act, when understood and practiced with intention, can be deeply therapeutic. But when done without awareness, it may lose meaning and even contribute to emotional numbness. Consider Henry, a widower in his late 60s. For years he thought his nightly routine was simply about physical release. Only later did he understand it was his way of soothing loneliness and anxiety. With awareness, that routine became self-care, not escape. For many, masturbation is less about lust and more about inner peace. 3. Use it or lose it. Why consistency matters. Sexual function is not immune to the principle of use it or lose it. Much like muscle atrophy, neglecting sexual activity, even solo, can lead to physiological decline. Blood vessels narrow, sensitivity fades, and confidence shrinks. Regular stimulation, with or without a partner, helps maintain both function and emotional connection to one's body. It's not just about pleasure, it's about preventing disuse atrophy and preserving a part of oneself that offers joy and identity. A man named Ray, 74, had abstained for nearly a decade. When he tried to reconnect, he found difficulty not due to disease, but disuse. With time, stimulation, and intention, his body responded. It was not a miracle, it was biology doing what it's built to do when given care. 4. The quiet cost of porn on sexual reflexes. One overlooked threat to male sexual health, especially in older age, is overexposure to porn. Pornographic content floods the brain with dopamine, leading to overstimulation and desensitization. Over time, real-life intimacy feels less exciting, and the brain may stop responding to subtle cues of affection. This phenomenon, known as arousal fatigue, causes many to believe their libido has died, when in reality their brains have adapted to artificial stimulation. One patient described how his arousal vanished outside the screen. No touch, no scent, no eye contact could spark it. We worked to rewire those reflexes, and slowly the fire returned. Reclaiming your sexual response begins with turning the screen off and tuning into the moment. 5. Masturbation as a lifeline, not a liability. The notion that masturbation is shameful or unnecessary after a certain age is a myth that harms many men. The truth is that masturbation can serve as a vital tool for maintaining emotional balance, combating loneliness, and even improving sleep through the release of calming neurochemicals. For widowers or those without partners, it may be the only means of staying connected to their sensual selves. Far from being trivial, this act becomes a personal ritual of dignity and vitality. One man said, "I didn't know it was okay to still be a man." That line, uttered in a whisper, was a turning point. He discovered that self-touch wasn't about sex, it was about belonging to himself. 6. Why doctors rarely discuss this vital topic. Most healthcare providers aren't trained to talk about sexuality in older adults. Discussions of desire, touch and pleasure often feel awkward or inappropriate in clinical settings. As a result, many men leave these questions unspoken, suffering in silence. But sexuality is not just for the young, it's a part of human life until our final days. More doctors must be encouraged to treat this area with the same respect as any other aspect of health. Until this shifts, men must become their own advocates, asking questions, seeking information, and understanding that their needs are valid, not shameful. 7. Evolving sexual identity with age. Aging does not strip away sexual identity, it refines it. Many men learn that real intimacy has more to do with emotional connection and authenticity than raw performance. Shifting focus from mechanical results to meaningful engagement allows older men to embrace a new, more fulfilling type of sexuality. Presence, patience, and self-acceptance become the new tools of desire. Like fine wine, sexuality matures. It softens, it deepens. It sheds the harshness of ego and embraces the grace of being fully human. 8. The emotional burden of cultural silence. Our culture glorifies youth and often silences the sexuality of older men. This silence creates isolation, confusion, and unnecessary shame. Countless men feel broken, not because they truly are, but because no one ever taught them how sexual expression changes with age. Lifting this veil can lead to collective healing and new conversations between generations of men who have long needed a voice in this space. When we speak the truth, we free others to do the same. The first step is realizing you are not the only one. 9. Rediscovering pleasure through mindful touch. When men stop relying on external cues like porn or performance metrics, they begin to rediscover the power of intentional, mindful touch. This includes slower movements, self-compassion, and an awareness of bodily sensations. These practices revive arousal, deepen sensitivity, and promote a renewed connection with oneself. It's less about climax and more about presence, memory, and emotional release. Breath becomes arousal, skin becomes memory. This is not regression, it's evolution. It's coming home to the body in a way that youth rarely understands. A conclusion. You're not broken, you're adapting. Masturbation, intimacy, and sexual health after 60 are not signs of decline or desperation. They're proof that you are still alive, still connected to your body, and still deserving of pleasure and meaning. Too often, older men are led to believe that with age comes the end of sexual relevance. But that couldn't be further from the truth. What changes is not your worth, but your way of experiencing it. The real challenge isn't aging, it's the silence and shame that surround it. Cultural taboos and outdated ideas about masculinity have made men feel broken for something that is completely natural. But when we speak openly, seek understanding, and embrace this new chapter with curiosity, healing begins. You're not less of a man because things feel different. You're more aware, more intentional, and more attuned. This phase of life offers a deeper kind of satisfaction rooted in presence, not performance. You haven't lost your manhood. In fact, you're finally discovering what it means on your terms. And in doing so, you reclaim not only your sexuality, but your dignity, peace, and self-respect. Because at its core, this journey isn't about hardness, it's about wholeness.